Well, welcome to our Conscious Cafe Global session today. We have a wonderful session with artist Louis Parsons on the power of soulscaping, and it's about the art of aligning the soul with your intentions. And in this session, particularly for the year ahead, 2022. And what Louis talks about is how we can set external goals for ourselves, but we forget that we need to think about who we want to be, who are we becoming, the interior world. And he's going to do a creative and artistic session. I'm doing this intro now because we had a challenge with the equipment and the recording. So we're going to add on to, when I've introduced Louis, we're going to add on Louis talking about this aspect of soulscaping. And then we'll move into the session that we had where individuals under Louis's guidance created individual works of art and had a discussion. So just to introduce Louis, what Louis does is use the power of art to inspire people and organizations to co-create a world of deeper harmony and success. His work is part of what he calls relational art. It's a concept that came out of the young British art movement led by Damien Hirst and Tracy Emin, eminent artists here in the UK, and it's characterized by its desire to express a sense of emotional freedom. Louis has also been deeply inspired by Mark Rothko, particularly his sublime use of color by J.M.W. Turner, whose impressionistic style was ahead of its time, and by Rodin, who created such fantastic figures. He passionately believes there is an emerging art movement, which he terms the soul renaissance. Through his talks, workshops, and art, Louis unlocks our ability to see the unique symphony of light that resides inside all of us. He brings simplicity and clarity to empower his audience to find greater energy in their lives. And our session today is Louis introducing this subject to us and then taking us on an inner creative journey. So do enjoy the session.
Great. So this is one of those conversations you don't particularly want to end with people. And I know, you can never really dedicate too much time to this conversation, but all of this is just really groundwork for us to paint our first soulscape. So what I'm going to do now you've had a time to write down and reflect on what these energies could be, I'm going to give us a crash course in how to create. Now, I just want to reiterate really that you don't need an artistic bone in your body to do anything that I'm about to share with you. You pretty much just need a pulse and the ability to worry. So should we just check in? We've got all those qualities. All right, brilliant. Then I'll start. So I'll just swap my camera over. You can see. So I'm going to do this whilst sharing what I perceive to be the tenets of creating, of soulscaping. So here I've got my canvas. I've got my paint. Now, probably the most useful thing I find to paint with is either a cloth, or if you don't have a cloth, these are awesome to paint with. I've got my paint, which happen to be acrylic paints. I've actually got a wine glass here, which doesn't have wine in it. It has water in it. And I'm just going to whack on the paint. That is all I need to do. That is it. That is your crash course in creating. That is absolutely, if you can do that, then you're creating. Now, if I blend colors quite often, it's in the spirit of spontaneity. So I will just blend it right on the canvas while I'm going like that. There we go. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So the first rule that you might like to think of is it is impossible for you to make a mistake. Totally impossible. And the reason for that is what you're about to create has never been created in the history of mankind. It's nascent, it's emergent, and it's going to happen now. So you can't compare it to anything. There's no point even considering that, art teacher moment where you marked out of 10. Imagine that. We were given a task like, I don't know, draw a chair, and then if it was close, we were given a lot of marks, and if we weren't, then we didn't. Crazy. All you have to do is follow that feeling. It's like having a conversation with the canvas. But what can happen is this. Oops, that was supposed to be red paint. Now, is that a mistake? No, it isn't a mistake, because you're going to stay true to these two things. You're creating according to your inner image. That's a recipe for a life of fulfillment. Create according to your inner image and stay open. You stay open to this moment, and this becomes a happy accident. It's something that happens all the time. You can turn it and change it and make it something that you didn't expect to happen. And let's face it, that's what happens all the time anyway, right? You're conditioning yourself to the creative process. So that's it. It's impossible for you to make a mistake. Create according to that image inside and just stay open. And that's all you need to do. We're going to paint for about 10, 15 minutes together. We'll see where we end up. I'll play us a little bit of music and off we go. Any questions or thoughts before we go? Brilliant.
Oh,
Let's do it.
Louis,
Oh, go on.
you mentioned linseed oil. If I try my paints, can I put any other sort of oil? I've got just about every other sort of oil, but not linseed oil.
Just try any other sort of oil.
It doesn't matter, frankly. It's fine. Thank you.
I wouldn't try diesel, that's all. But yeah, anything else will probably work.
Okay.
I look forward to seeing what comes out. Brilliant. So each of us have got a little voice inside that lets us know when our painting is done. And it's important to pay attention to that little voice. We don't want to underwork it, we don't want to overwork it. And some of us are going to finish sooner than others. So let's give this a few more minutes now of painting, see where you end up. You're very welcome to carry on beyond this session. But just start paying attention to that voice and knowing when your painting's going to finish. So just while a few people are finishing off, or in whatever stage of creating you're in, is completely fine. So feel free to carry on if you want for a little bit. Again, you might want to carry on beyond the session too. But I can see from a couple of people that it looks like you're finished, and it would be fantastic just without you actually sharing the artwork. I'd love to hear what you experienced as you paint. So don't talk about your actual artwork. We're going to do that in a very distinct way. But what did it feel like to create this way? If anyone's got a thought on that, if you could raise your physical hand. Julie.
Yeah, when I was talking before, I was saying that, you know, everything's been a bit, you can see I'm wearing grey. Everything's grey, very grey. And I'm always surprised that once I'm actually a designer, and I've worked commercially as a designer for years. So I think I was very creative when I was a kid, and it's just been kind of beaten out of me over the years. So I'm always surprised at how crazy I go when someone gives me the opportunity. But I won't give myself that opportunity.
Wow. Okay. Well, I love that you've given yourself the opportunity, and if you do go crazy, then that's awesome. And to me, that's a big sign to do more and more and more and more. And I think the inner benefits of doing that would be incredible. I really do. I really look forward to it. Hopefully I'll get to see your piece in a moment. Any other experiences? I think that one of my favorite words in the world is catharsis. It means purgation of the soul. A good Shakespearean tragedy, I was taught in A-level English, builds catharsis. It's like a feeling of just purging, feeling out. And I really think that could be something you experienced there, Julie. So that's great. Any other little experiences about the actual creating process? Catherine.
Hi, Lewis.
Hi.
So it's a beautiful sunny day here, and I was so excited. I did your one earlier in the year, and I don't know if you remember, I don't like being messy, so painting with my hands, my fingers nearly freaked me out, but I did it. So today was exactly the opposite. I painted the whole thing with my hands. I did have to wash them twice during the process, but I did it. But the excitement and the freedom to be allowed to express. I work in a very structured IT, which is sort of very rigid. And I always say that I'm not artistic. I am creative. I've learned that over the years, but I don't get any place to express that. Clothes and colour in my garden and things like that, yes, but not through this sort of medium. So I was really excited, and I've loved it. I'm so thrilled with my picture. But I was almost at the end of it. I'd got to that point. So I remember you saying that before, don't overwork it. I'd got to the point, and then I looked at yours and you'd got white, and I've got to go and put some white on, you know. So I fell foul of that, but I'm still thrilled with it. I'm still thrilled with it. So
I'm so pleased. I do remember you from the other session, and
I'm very happy to get later. So
yeah, superb. Well, that's great, and you know, it's good because you're still staying true to that inner image. But the great thing about a live session like this is you can feed off one another's creativity. We enter into a creative field together, which enables this creativity to happen a little more easily, I find. So it could be engaged, and even seeing someone else's artwork can help inspire different ideas. So that's great. All right, fantastic. So so for some of us, it's brilliant Catherine's thrilled with her artwork. And yet, for some of us, we might be looking at it and going, well, I didn't expect to paint that, which is, I would say, 9.5 times out of the case. Now, some of us will be looking at it and going, and I'm not sure how I feel about it either. And really, it's brilliant if you are thrilled with it, but it's very rare that an artist looks at a piece of their art and says, you know what, that captures exactly that feeling I was trying to capture that day. Instead, what there is there's this gap between what you intended to create and what you created. And actually, all that energy and information in that gap, when you make friends with it, is something you can use next time around. So in that respect, now it's better to do that than cut off an ear or go mad or go bonkers, which is what a lot of artists do. Learn to make friends with that gap instead, I find really, really helps. At the same time, sometimes that can mean we might not share what we've created. And that is actually something of a mistake, because in sharing what we've created, we bless other people without even realizing it. And we actually get to hear what impact it can have on others as well. So we're going to do a very succinct, but it's so essential. It's one of my favorite parts of the process. This we're going to do breakout rooms of feet, where we're going to do exactly what I'm about to demonstrate, which is one of you in the room will hold your artwork up to the screen, and the others are not going to say, is it a cat? Is it a dog? We're not going to project what we think is on the artwork. Instead, what you're going to do is this. Once the artwork's up, the other two people in the room are going to quietly tune in. And then from that place of tuning in, you're going to say, what I experience is. Because then we know you're speaking from your experience. Now, what can happen is from your inner experience, you may tune into what the artwork's really about, not what's from here, okay? From the depths of your being, see what you feel the artwork's about. And it might be it overlaps with what you intended with the artwork. And that's a beautiful thing when it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So the question is this: what do you experience in the artwork? The other two people share. Then after you've had a couple of bits of feedback, you get to say what you make of what they've shared, and you get to share what your artwork's about. And this is really important too. The person who shares gets a guaranteed round of applause. Really important, because I've rigged the whole thing for you to win. Okay, may as well. You've been brave, you've been courageous as it is. Georgina, it'd be brilliant if your cat actually fed back on your artwork as well. I think it's important he or she is involved in the process. So now I'm also aware of time, and I really want to make sure you have feedback on that. So if we do go over time by maybe 5 or 10 minutes, is everyone okay with that? Okay, brilliant. If you really do need to get away, let me know. Superb. Great. I just get excited, you see, and I want everyone to get as much out of this as possible. So I'm going to recreate the rooms, and we're going to do...
How many minutes each between the three people?
So it's going to be 3 minutes each for each of the people, and
including the feedback.
Yeah, to do the feedback.
Show, then get feedback, 3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, and so now Gina and Judy, you're in a room of 4, so hopefully you'll have room. I know you're brilliant at speaking briefly and succinctly, so that'll be no problem to do 4 in the space of 3. So I'll keep you posted. I'll put up little messages every now and again to remind you what we're doing, what you experience, what you make of what other people have experienced, and then you share, and then a round of applause. All right, I'm going to open up the rooms for you.
Put the recording on pause.
Wow.
I missed out on my applause. I'm sorry, but I missed out on my applause.
Well, I tell you what,
from everyone.
everyone a round of applause.
Thank you.
There we go. I think everyone now gets on the receiving end of 16 rounds of applause. Beautiful. I love jumping in and out of the rooms and just seeing the flow of energy and what's being shared. And again, it's one of those conversations you just don't want to end. So I'd absolutely love to share something with you very briefly, but before I do that, it'd be great just to hear a way to kind of, if you like, ground this practice and to enable you to take it forward into your day, into your year, is just to consider for a moment, what would you say your key insight has been from today? Now you can write that down in your journal, and it's something I encourage the Soulscapers to do. It's a way of maintaining the energy, or you can just spontaneously share it. If anyone's got a key insight, I'd love to hear just one or two from people. Great, Lisa with an E.
For me, it was the comment you made about what you focus on flourishes, and I've heard that before, but not done it.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to take that away and spend more time focusing on the good stuff. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Georgina.
I did manage to, with the cat giving feedback, he caused absolute chaos, but it's a valuable reminder of bringing play into things. But my main takeaway from today is alignment is everything. Alignment brings, it's such a valuable reminder that alignment brings us love, joy, freedom, fulfillment, all the things that we actually need and want to actually live a nourished and happy, content life.
Wow, thank you, so rich. And yes, Diana.
Rebecca, actually, don't worry, because there's two of us here.
Diana in Rebecca's room. No, Rebecca and Diana's room. Yeah.
Yes, I just want to say, I think I've done a lot, art in the past, but I think my problem has always been I'm just too particular, too worried about, well, what if I make a mistake? What if I, how can I start? Would I ever be? I don't think I've ever start something because I always worry about that sort of thing. And I think what I've learned from today is it's about, not necessarily using a paintbrush, it's using anything and just getting the colors down and just seeing how it emerges in front of you. So basically forget what you've got planned to start with in your head and what you think you're going to draw, but actually just allow yourself to just, well, I'll try some of that and I'll try some of that just to see what happens, really. I think that's the main thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Brilliant. That spirit of spontaneity. And I completely love what Georgina shared as well about alignment, so I would completely love to hear and see all of your artwork. There is actually a way we can achieve that, which I'll share in a moment. But the past couple of years for me have been a real journey of alignment to my own soul. I as I'm sure everyone's experienced, there's been lots of change and there's been lots of chaos, and what I've wanted to do is bring this all together in such a way that we can build a consistent creative backbone of light, creative resilience in all of us throughout a year's time. And so I've created something called the Soul Alignment Program. And the Soul Alignment Program is a 12-month program where we enter into different facets of our soulscape, including our creative resilience, our authentic purpose, turning fear into freedom, and we go into our world image, how we really look at the world, what we see is possible, what isn't possible. And every time, again, this is not about teaching you something new. Actually, it's almost about taking something away. It's unblocking things and revealing to you how creativity, your own creativity right now, can face into all of the challenges and actually all of the abundance that we can create together. There are 2 intimate circles of 6 groups, and they're live sessions fortnightly. And I'll show you where you can find out if you go to my website, louisparsons.com, You'll see the soul alignment programs there at the top. All the details are there. There's 3 places left in each circle, actually. There's a weird video of me. And then slightly down the face, there's a free ebook there as well that you can download about the world soul renaissance. Now, the other thing is, what I'd really ask is that you tune in and feel into what that little voice says, because for me, it's really important that that we're working with the right people, you know, and you know, I am offering now that you can do the first 3 months to experience it. I know 12 months is a really big ask. It starts with a retreat at the beginning of the year, half day, which you're very welcome to join. And then it kind of expands into how we can really build this resilience over time. If you feel like that little voice is saying this could be you, I'd ask that you drop me an email to lewis@lewisparsons.com, and I'd gladly arrange a little Zoom meeting with you, and we can connect and find out what's happening with you and whether it works for you. And the other thing would be, if this is just something you want to continue in your own time, at your own pace, whenever you want, we can add to this thing, which is the soul mosaic. If you will send your artwork to me, we can make it part of that. But even better than that would be, you can join the Soulscaping collective, and you get this free course to help you develop your own soulscaping practice. So it's very simple. It's self-paced. It helps build your imagination. It's called The Power of Attention. And you can post your artwork in the collective, and I will personally comment on it. You'll find there's a group of brilliant people in there where we mutually support each other's creativity. And again, the way you do that is by going to the website, clicking on that little menu at the top. You'll see Soulscaping Collectives at the top. There's a little sign-in process, and then you can get access to the course through there. So if any of that feels right, I'd absolutely love to connect with you. And more than anything, thank you so much for bringing the power of your attention and your imagination to this, and flourishing these aspects to your being, and use your artwork. Okay, I've done this now for long enough that, you know, people who actually bring their artwork, hold it in their space, keep re-engaging with it and reimagining it, enable these things to happen more and more in their lives. So I really hope you do the same. Thank you so much, and I really look forward to connecting with you.
Louis, thank you so much. What a fantastically inspiring and creative hour and a half we've had. Everybody, I'm sure. You don't know. Give you applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we can see everybody. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm just trying to remove spotlight, and then we can see everybody.
Oh yeah.
Remove spotlight. Yeah. View gallery. Yeah, here we all are. Yay. Do you want to say something about
I do. I'd love it if everybody could hold up their artwork and Gina could take a photo.
I will do a screenshot.
Brilliant idea.
And if anybody is anxious about anybody looking at it on the website, if you don't want to be mentioned on the website, or it's not your thing, then obviously don't do it. But otherwise, we would love to use it on our website. So here we go.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Gina.
I'm waiting for everybody's artwork. Oh, lovely. Yes. I'm going to take one more. Wow. They are absolutely gorgeous. I got it. Got it.
Beautiful.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
So a couple of things I briefly want to say. Louis, you are amazing. And every time I hear you, I am inspired to go out and be a different creative person, inspiring everybody else. So thank you so much. Gina, thank you so much for always just being on the ball. You are always so generous with your time. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We have several events for Conscious Cafe. We've actually got an event tomorrow in Canterbury about angels. So if you're interested in exploring the angels who surround you, Cora, I'm not going to ask you to introduce it because I know we're running a bit late, but it is on our website. And we have our December events on our website. We've got a discussion. We've got a couple of discussions, and we've got a walk. If you live near London, we've got a walk in Regent's Park. And at the end of the month, we've got Jessica Adams, who's an extraordinary astrologer. She is very powerful, very amazing. And if I tell you that one of her previous talks for Conscious Cafe has had over 12,000 views on YouTube, then hopefully you'll want to investigate further. So please check out our website. I've typed out the website in the chat box, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Now, one more thing, because this is a complex event, it will take us longer to send you the recording, because we will just have to see if we want to edit it. So please don't chase me if you haven't had it you can chase me if you haven't had it in 10 days, but I hope I'll be able to get it to you by the beginning of, not this week, but next week, because we may need someone to edit it. So thank you all for coming today. It's been lovely to see you. It's been thrilling to see all your different artworks, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.